Welcome to Riding the Wave. Riding the Wave, newly launched podcast that I thought of literally yesterday as I was pacing around my cul-de-sac and thought, oh my gosh, maybe I should start a podcast. I'm such a talker, and I think it would be really interesting to feature amazing guests from all over the world. So the idea of riding the wave is, in short, someone would share a struggle, big or small, and what their journey was, or in other words, how they are riding the wave. So for me, at least what I tell people is that sometimes I get really huge surges of energy, and sometimes I just don't know what to do with that. And that pretty much launched me into my fitness journey, which is kind of how I've been riding the wave, if you will. Anyway, so I want to introduce you all to my first guest here, Daniela Bodoh. Can you say hello?
Hello, everyone. I'm Daniela. And I have a YouTube channel called Daniela Bodoh, so you should subscribe to that. Shameless self-promo.
Yeah, so how have you been lately?
I've been really good, despite, being stuck in quarantine. It's not exactly how we planned this year to go, but I think I've been getting used to the quarantine after being in it for 3 months. And
can you believe it's been 3 months?
Yeah, I've just been really good. Yeah, it's been 3 months.
Amazing. So, I know quarantine, oh my gosh, I feel like quarantine, it brings the best and the worst out of me. Like, sometimes I am just going crazy, and then other times I think, oh my gosh, I could write a book, I could write a memoir, I could start a podcast. So, I've heard that you want to be a professional musician in your future, and that takes a lot of dedicated practice. Just to be a professional at anything, it takes hours, hundreds, thousands of hours of practice to hone your skills. And, having grown up being a musician myself and wanting to start a lot of new professional things in the future, anything that it just takes so much time and dedication. And even if it's something you love, like for me, I love music. I love a gajillion things that I just can't think of right now. But even the things I'm most passionate about, it takes so much time and dedication and can so easily lead to burnout. And I wonder, have you had any of that before?
I've definitely had times where I was tired of practicing. There was a time about 2 years ago when I don't know if I got to the burnout stage, but I got pretty close. And I was just really stressed out with school and orchestra rehearsal and stuff. And I remember at one point I was questioning, do I really want to go into music as a career? After all these years of thinking, yes, that's what I'm going to do. I remember one day I was questioning that. Do I really want to go into it as a career? And luckily, that was a very temporary phase. I think I was just feeling really stressed out at the time. But yeah, there have been times when I've definitely had my highs and lows in terms of practicing. There was also another time when I was I pretty much was wasting a whole free week that I had. And I was watching a bunch of YouTube videos and not practicing like I should have. And then at the end of that week, I had this revelation. And I was I regret wasting this week of not practicing when I should have been practicing. And so yeah, there have definitely been times. But especially during this quarantine, things have been weird lately. I guess I've kind of, over the past few years, have had to try to figure out what works for me, because sometimes I lose motivation. And I think that I think that's a very common thing. So and especially during this quarantine when every day feels exactly the same, I've been getting there have been times when I was just getting so tired of doing the same thing, having the same routine every single day. And a couple of weeks ago, I discovered something that has been helping.
Yeah.
And
okay.
So I've been taking walks every morning, which has really helped. And
yeah.
I never thought I would swear by that, because I've never been the type of person that like is really into like exercise. Like I've never been into like working out or anything.
So,
but I guess taking a walk.
Would you mind walking me through that a little bit?
Yeah. So, I guess taking a walk.
Did you get the pun?
Yes, I did. So I guess taking a walk in the morning, like, it really sets the mood for the day, because one reason is because I have to get up at a reasonable hour in order to be able to take this walk. So it like prevents me from laying in bed too late and therefore starting practice too late in the day. But also it helps me feel more awake because I'm getting up and like doing something active. So it like helps me feel awake, and also it's just really good to like just get in the zone and just like connect with nature, I guess, and like listen to music while I'm walking, and it's just like in the zone. Ooh. And it just really improves my mood for like the whole day.
What kind of music do you listen to on your walks?
I have this playlist of like random music like on YouTube, basically.
What's your random music?
Just like random songs. Like some of them are like motivational or like uplifting songs or whatever. Some of them are like I don't know, I just have like all this, I just have a playlist of like just all this random music.
Do you have any specifics? I need recommendations.
I'm gonna pull up the playlist.
All right.
And look through. One recommendation I have off the top of my head: Fight Song by Rachel
Platten. It's so uplifting. I feel like it always puts me in a better mood after I listen to it. Right?
Yeah, I love that song, and I feel like it's especially an appropriate song to listen to like during these difficult times, because the song is pretty much about like just like getting through something difficult and stuff, and like pretty much not caring what like other people think and pretty much stuff like that. That's pretty much what the song is about.
So important in, today's world. People, I know I used to care so much about what people thought of me, and I used to care so much of how I came across as a person in front of others, and how I looked, how I dressed, how I everything. And I think it really wasn't until recently that I realized, you know what? It doesn't matter what other people think. Like, it really doesn't matter. And
yeah, exactly.
It really doesn't matter. I can dress however I want. I can put on an impression as much as I want. If I feel like it, I could shave half my head and get tattoos. But, maybe I won't. Maybe that's a little overboard for today. But I think that's amazing. And I didn't even know how much you really like Rachel Platten. I wonder, there's this other song that she wrote. Oh my gosh, I'm struggling to find the title of it, but all of her songs are just so uplifting, and I think that's a really awesome way you've been riding your wave, don't you think?
Yeah. Also, another thing, speaking of like music and stuff, and I've been making a lot of violin covers, especially like during this quarantine. It's really brought out like my creative side.
Yeah.
And I started making violin covers about a year ago, and like my first violin cover was pretty much like it was just like filmed in my room, and it was like I didn't really put that much like creative side into it. It was just like me just playing violin. But my violin covers that I've made throughout the past year, I've really tried to find like ways to experiment with them and make the video more interesting. And I've been going to different locations to film. Like the other day I filmed this violin cover, which I'm actually going to post on my YouTube channel today, so check that out. I made a cover of Havana. Yeah, so that was the song that I covered, and I actually filmed that cover on the same trail that I walk on every morning.
Oh my gosh. So, just a thought. Have you ever thought of taking your violin with you, during your morning walk and just, like, doing violin or practice or whatever, like, during your walk at all? Like, just for fun. Like, not, like, I don't know, intensively practicing your scales or working on some crazy concerto by, I don't know, Mendelssohn or something. Like, no, you wouldn't do that during your morning walk. Morning walk's supposed to be relaxing and fun, but I feel like, at least for me, when I play violin for fun, like just playing a cover or something like that, I know that's kind of relaxing, and I wonder, have you ever thought of combining the two?
I mean, that's a good idea. Maybe I will play violin during one of my walks. That would be cool.
Yeah.
Also, one thing about filming in, like, locations where, like, people go is it's fun to play for a captive audience. I also, about a month ago, I recorded a violin cover. It was a cover of Fight Song. I went to the park to film that, and there were people at the park, and it's fun playing for, like, a captive audience. And I thought it would be, like, uncomfortable, like, I don't know why. I guess I thought that people would stare,
like, judge you or something.
I don't know. But it was actually, like, not uncomfortable. I remember, like, during one of my like, clips, this guy was, like, running. He was, like, jogging or something, and as he walked past me, he started clapping, and I thought that was cool.
That's so cool. I feel like now I'm inspired. No, the sad thing is I actually left my violin back in Illinois where I go to school, and I'm like, but low key, like, I've actually been thinking maybe I should just rent a violin or something, or if someone's just not playing it anymore. Like, I think it would be so cool if we, I guess, dang it, we're like thousands of miles apart. I was about to say we should go together on a walk to a park and play a violin duet. Like, thoughts?
Yeah. But yeah, I've been really enjoying making violin covers during this quarantine. I feel like quarantine has been a blessing and a curse.
A blessing and a curse. We have an inside joke about, okay, just as a little sidetrack, Daniela and I, we watched a video together about oh my gosh, it would be TMI, but we watched a video on YouTube, and there was a part where the father came in and said, "This is gonna be a blessing and a curse," and we laughed so hard when that happened. It's just, I don't know what it was, and now we just say everything is a blessing and a curse, because, I mean, at the end of the day, like, even the worst of things, there's always a little blessing in disguise, I suppose. So I just thought I'd have to fill you in on that, but yeah, keep going. What were you saying?
So I feel like quarantine has been a blessing and a curse, because, like, it's fun, like, being creative, and, like, it brings out the creative side in a lot of people, but also it's, like, it's hard because I can't do a lot, like, for example,
do things.
Like, I can't do things, and also, like, my trip to Hawaii, which we were actually supposed to leave tomorrow.
What?
Like, we were supposed to go to Hawaii tomorrow. Well, let's just say that's not happening, at least not.
Or let's just say that's been postponed.
Yeah. And there's, like, a lot of things that, like, besides, like, not being able to go on trips, like, just not being able to just, like, leave the house whenever, like, and, like, freely without risking anything. Like, I mean, things are starting to open up, so I guess it's less of a quarantine now than it was 3 months ago.
Yeah, but, like, honestly, I feel like even, like, 2 months ago, maybe 1.5 months ago, like, it was so bad. Like, oh my gosh, I feel like there was a time when I had, like, a quarantine mental breakdown, just to put it in simple words. So
Yes.
But yeah, no, really, like, I feel like, I wonder, have your morning walks benefited you in other ways besides just motivating you to practice your violin more?
I guess like it's just been helping my mindset, and also another creative thing that I've loved to do that taking walks has kind of inspired me to do is make kindness rocks. So basically there's like so on the trail that I walk on every day, there's like a whole bunch of kindness rocks that people have painted, and people are so creative. Like I saw like someone took a bunch of rocks, painted each letter of the alphabet on each rock and laid them all out. It was so creative. But yeah, I've been inspired to contribute some of my own kindness rocks to that collection, and so far I've made 2. And so the first one that I made, it pretty much says, "Stay safe, wash your hands, and keep practicing." I was referencing like pretty much how my quarantine has been spent. And the recent one that I did, it simply says 24/7, 366. And basically that symbolizes how this quarantine has felt. Because at one point, let's be honest, we all thought, like, at the beginning of it, that it was only going to be 2 weeks or something. But then it ended up just being, like, our daily lives. So pretty much we're in quarantine 24 days, or 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 366 days a year.
Preach, sister.
And also, yes, for the people who are going to attack me, it's 366, not 365.
I think people know, it's funny. I thought maybe it was good that we had our leap year day when we did. Like, just imagine if it was actually during quarantine.
I think about that all the time, because first of all, like, it's good because that means we didn't get an extra day of quarantine, and second of all, it meant we got to enjoy that day, even though it was like so close to when the quarantine started. It was like nice to not even like know that a few weeks later we were going to be stuck in quarantine.
I mean, I knew about Corona. I just didn't think it was really gonna like hit us that hard.
Like that was, it was like before that, like before it really hit us hard, like before like even things closed, like everyone is still like going about their normal lives, just chilling, just
my last golden days before the world turned upside down.
Yeah. So I think that, and so I guess like the timing worked out in that way. Yeah, I just wish that it wasn't this year, because this was supposed to be our year. And of course,
I thought this year was going to be my best year ever.
I know. And of course Miss Rona had to step in and be like, and just I don't know, like Miss Rona just had to. Yes, Miss Rona. Yes. Yeah, so that was great.
Yeah, but I mean, just imagine, like, we'll have kids in the future and be like, "Audrey, you don't have to go to your sleepover tonight because mommy had to be in quarantine for 5 years and she couldn't go to any sleepover." I'm like, so you can wait until next weekend, okay?
I mean, I would hope that this quarantine doesn't last for 5 years, because that would
I'm being
really
exaggerated. I mean, in 5 years from now, who knows what's going to happen? Are people still going to shake hands in 5 years? Like, maybe, but I think there'll definitely be some kind of lasting change that coronavirus brings. Or at the very least, like, people are going to actually stay home from school and work if they think they feel sick. Like, that's the biggest thing, I think. Like, there's so many people that are like, "Oh my god, mom, I feel terrible. Like, I have the flu." And like, "Honey, you gotta go to school." I think in the future, people are gonna be like, "Mom, I feel terrible. I think I have the flu," and take the temperature or whatever. And then they're like, "Okay, you're actually gonna stay home this time. You're not gonna be the cause of another pandemic."
Oh, also, another like personal experience, just before the quarantine and just before like the pandemic like officially started, I had a cough, and it was like a really weird time to have a cough, and I swear this cough lasted literally forever,
Was it the coronavirus? You know, people cough for that.
I don't think I actually had the virus, but it was just a really awkward time to have a cough. I think because I had allergies like a few weeks before, so a cough developed from that. But it was a really awkward time to have a cough. And I remember I was in my audition, because I had auditions for music school, which luckily my last one was like literally days before the pandemic. So,
that's
like,
so good. Oh my gosh, just imagine how much extra stress that would be. If it had been a week
later, like it probably would have been canceled. But anyways, I remember I had my audition that day, and we were eating lunch at a restaurant after my audition. And I remember like my dad told me that like I should be extra cautious of like covering my mouth when I cough, because like I guess for more of like a social thing, because it was just before the pandemic, so like everyone was like freaking out and stuff. So yeah, so I guess that's one thing that you know, I've had to like learn. I mean, I've tried to like still cover my mouth, but like especially I feel like people are gonna be even more careful of that. So yeah, I think that's another change that this virus will bring.
Absolutely. I think people are going to be a lot more cautious, because people are going to think, oh, okay, well, I, for the love of God, do not want to start another pandemic. So, yeah, I mean, we've been going about 22 minutes. I know I'm trying to keep my podcasts under 30 minutes. I'm afraid, like, I guess my biggest podcast doubt is, like, are people actually going to listen to this all the way through? I feel like if it's 20 minutes, or even if they listen to like several... Okay, so do you ever like watch, let's say, YouTube videos, and you see a YouTube video that's an hour long, and then you end up watching 3 YouTube videos that are 20 minutes long?
Yeah.
Like,
I also have this problem where I film a video and I'm like, okay, I'm not going to talk very much. In fact, this happened yesterday. I was filming a video and I was like, okay, I'm not going to talk like a lot. I'm like, this is only going to be a 10-minute video.
Famous
and then I end up
last words.
I end up getting way more rambly than I ever intended to. And then the video it ends up being like 40, like a couple weeks ago, I was filming a video about awkward moments. Like it was a bunch of story times, and the whole video unedited was 40 minutes. And while I was filming, it did not feel like 40 minutes, but that's how much footage I had. I ended up cutting it down to like under 20 minutes. But yeah, I get so rambly in videos and I lose track of time.
Oh, wow.
So that's...
All right. Well, I mean, I guess that happens. So I feel like this was such a good start to the Riding the Wave podcast. I was so honored to have you as my first guest. So I know that I guess Daniela's wave is staying on the grind, and she takes morning walks to reset her mind to stay on the grind. So if you ever have any struggles, no matter how big or small, please know that they are valid and beautiful, right?
Yes.
All right. Please go check out and subscribe to Daniela's YouTube channel. It's her name, Daniela Bodoh. And I'm sure she will be very thankful. I will definitely link to her channel and everything in the description. And until the next episode, keep riding your waves, and I will see you all later. Thanks so much!
Thanks so much for having me on this podcast. I've been really honored, and it's been so much fun just like talking and stuff. But yeah, so thanks so much for having me again. It's been such an honor, and I can't wait to see I can't wait to listen to this podcast. So I guess my official YouTube outro is peace out, y'all.
Bye!